All right, what's going on, guys? Memorial Tournament this week, Muirfield Village, one of the best courses in golf, PGA Tour at Jack Nicklaus's place. I spoke with Dwayne Bach, who's veteran caddy for Kevin Kisner, and he said this is a course that you have to be a longer hitter, right? You get in that thick 4 or 5 inch Kentucky bluegrass, rough, whatever it is, that's just tough to deal with to have a second shot and to really go into these greens. We're very sloped and very undulating this week, so keep an eye out for players with distance, guys who can play really well. And it makes sense when you look at the starting at the top, John Rahm being a really good distance player, and there he is, 11,100. It makes sense why he's up there. Of course, 6-shot lead he had last year at this course, and before he had COVID, before they found out on the Saturday night. So he's a great pick starting off. Patrick Cantlay always plays well. No surprise. He's a top 5 for this week. Rory McIlroy coming at 10,900. Those are all solid picks. I would definitely, if you're making a lineup, you want to pick those guys. When you look at value, I would look at a player like Viktor Hovland, 9,300. I spoke with him at the PGA Championship, and I said, what's going on with the game? How are you feeling, especially about short game? And he said the big key, simplifying things. He really wants to work on his technique and feel like he's getting stronger with that, and he's working on relentlessly with Jeff Smith, his short game coach from Las Vegas, working on little chips around the greens and getting confidence with the feels, as Jeff had told me recently. So we'll see how that all comes together, but I wouldn't be concerned. I mean, this is a guy who is a top 4 in shots gained approach on the PGA Tour this year. So precision is something he can find, all right? Putting, he's improved drastically this year as well with his aim point, which he's added, and it's really helped him with his play. So if you're looking for a guy that's going to find precision, he will find it eventually. He's got it in other parts of his game. I'm not worried about Viktor Hovland. Tied for 21st at Colonial is coming off of. But he's also told me he's trying to find a balance between being aggressive and actually going after it and just hanging around with pars and just staying in the mix. He's a top 5. He's 5th right now in birdie average on the PGA Tour. This is a big ballpark where they're going. You're going to need to make a ton of birdies this week. So what Viktor Hovland brings to the table there is huge with his scoring ability. 12th off the tee. Driving distance, I should say shots gained off the tee. And this is important. Remember, as we mentioned, driving distance, you got to be out there. Speaking at the beginning with Dwayne Bach, that veteran caddy, you've got to be in scoring positions on this golf course. And him playing that well, 12th off the tee so far this year, is really going to get him into good position and give you a great pick, great value at 9,300. Davis Riley coming in at 8,600. This guy has been solid. You find me a more solid player in the last 5 starts, okay? Tied for 4th, 5th, tied for 9th, tied for 13th, and tied for 4th. This is the way he's played in his last 5 starts. I don't think you can find a better, more consistent player than that. He had the solo lead for a short time at Colonial last week, so you've got to factor that in. This is a rookie on the PGA Tour that's making some very confident moves going his way up. And now as I talked with him at the PGA Championship, I said, what's been the key for you? And he said, I turned a page at Valspar when I finished solo 2nd. I really found that confidence. I know I can win out here. I'm good enough, straight up. And one thing he learned from playing well at the PGA Championship is that he's good enough to win on the PGA Tour. Tougher golf courses, he's just able to grind through it. He's played a ton. He's played 20 events already this year, a lot more than anybody above him in DFS. So this is a guy coming into this golf course. He's 10th in birdie average. Remember, as we were talking about, you got to score on this golf course. He's got that kind of game. He knows he's good enough. And I think that's going to be a huge factor as you play DFS throughout this week, that he can make that many birdies on a golf course like this. I think it's going to be a huge factor. So keep an eye out, 8,600 for Davis Riley. Beyond that, Tom Hoge, 7,400. I love what he brings to this one. 7th in shots gained approach. It's huge. You want to have a player who can be in position, who can go after these greens. And he's got the right mentality, the right kind of iron play for this golf course. Now, the key will be driving. I spoke with him at the PGA Championship. What's the deal with the driver? I know he was a little frustrated at the time, and he said, yeah, he's just got to get that lined up. He's got to find more confidence off the tee and being in position. He's going to have to get that dialed in this week. But if he does, remember, he finished in the top 10 at the PGA Championship, tied for 9th, his best top 10, his best finish in a major championship. And that was with a driver, a balky driver, if you want to call it that, not his best stuff. And he was really expecting a lot from himself. He was not happy with that top 10. So he knows if he can get that driver in play and get himself into position. He's got the iron play at 7th in shots gained approach for the season. He's got the iron play to consistently score and put himself on the greens in position to go after it for this week. So 26 tee to green is where he's at for shots gained on the season. So that's something else to look at as well, is that he's able to factor in a lot of aspects of his ball striking really well. So Tom Hoge, if you look at what he's done, obviously T9 at the PGA, miscut at Colonial, but he did have a T17 before that, the Nelson. So this is some different results, but still he's been very solid overall in this last month. So keep an eye out for Tom Hoge this week. Gary Woodland, 7,400. He loves this golf course. This is one of his favorites on the PGA Tour. I spoke with Butchie, his caddy, Brendan Little, last night, and he said this is something he looks forward to. He looks forward to the milkshakes, but he loves this golf course. He loves the way it sets up for his eye off the tee, coming into these greens and the green complexes for this week. So Gary Woodland, keep an eye on what he can do. Remember, he was entering Sunday the PGA Championship. He was only 6 shots back. He was in 6th position there going in. So it's just, he was tasting it. If he shot 3 under par, it would have been good enough for a playoff. So he was in the mix, had a chance. He ended up with a T34, 75 on Sunday, not his best, but still, you've got to like the fact that he's been close in a big tournament coming into this week. If you look at what he does, obviously off the tee, 18th in driving distance, that's massive for this week at this golf course at Memorial, Muirfield Village. Not only does he love it, but he has the distance that can go with that and be a great combination to a golf course like this, give himself consistent opportunities. He's 10th in club head speed as well this year on the PGA Tour. I think this is going to lead to a lot of scoring opportunities for Gary Woodland. Very good value for you this week at 7,400. Keith Mitchell, 7,300, one of the best drivers in all of golf. You want to have him on your team this week. 5th in shots gained off the tee. This is a huge golf course, a big ballpark. You're going to want to have that for this week. 26th in distance. That's another thing, too. He's going to get it out there for you and give himself a good scoreable irons coming into these greens. So Keith Mitchell, one of the best drivers in all of golf. And I spoke with him about that, actually. He said that there are some driving holes where if there's not a ton of trees, you can actually, he loves going the other way. If it's a left to right hole, he likes going right to left and playing into the slope and keeping it in play that way. This is a guy that's confident with that driver. It doesn't matter what he's doing. So we see that from him. 3 top 12s in the month of February. It's going a little ways back, but still very consistent around the time at Pebble Beach. Tied for 13th at the Players' Championship. So we had some good play earlier part of the spring. And then, of course, it's been a little erratic as of late. But you know what? It all comes with the territory. We're playing different golf courses, different challenges. Colonial to this, pretty big change from week to week on the PGA Tour. So we'll see what you get out of Keith Mitchell. Very strong, consistent player, especially with the driver. That's what you need, the big stick here at Muirfield Village. Luke List, 7,100. This is a really solid player you could take for this tournament at Muirfield Village. Everything about this course is exactly what his game brings to the table. 4th in shots gained off the tee. 21st in approach. So he's got the precision coming in. He's also got it off the tee. It's massive to have that off the tee at this big ballpark. And then also 11th in distance. Okay, so you got everything you're going to need. On paper, his caddy, Jeff Willett, told me this is the perfect fit for his guy at this golf course. Luke List fitting well at Muirfield Village. And listen, at 7,100, this is a very, very good value. 15th in greens and regulation, so he's got precision to go with that distance. It's a very good combination with what we're getting out of Luke List. So keep an eye out on what he can bring to the table for you. He's going to really consistently give himself opportunities at this golf course. Bo Hosser, 6,200. You should have seen, obviously, in Colonial last week, he was right there, tied for the 36-hole lead in the hunt, really tasting it. He had a difficult weekend, wasn't his best, but he's 28th in distance this year. So I like what he can bring to this table at this golf course, Muirfield Village, having been close in last week's tournament, at least for the first couple of days, and now a course that's going to help his distance, going to be a good fit for his distance as well. 4th in shots gained putting. Of course, it's going to come down to putting at this course. Yes, a lot of guys can be putting for birdies, but I like what Bo Hosser brings to the table here. He's a very consistent putter, and that's going to be huge. I think keep his momentum going as he goes for that first PGA Tour win. What will it be? I know he played well at Pebble Beach, had a shot there on that Sunday. When will that first win come? I think it's only a matter of time for Bo Hoster. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this wrap up, this preview for the Memorial Tournament, and we'll catch up again soon.